What is this? You can't be begging around here. West of Dublin, folks. Oh, wonderful. Well, I'd like to do this and just greet you this morning, and this afternoon rather than this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages. I love doing that. P.T. Barnum started that. And tonight you're going to see a recreation involving P.T. Barnum, Tom Thumb, Henry Clay, all kinds of famous people from this area. I'd like you to go back in time with me. This is a most unusual play. And when asked to direct it, other directors said, well, why are you doing this? Because we've gone back in history, looked at old journals, and found a connection between some very famous people and Kentucky. How neat. And a story that was there. So tonight you're going to see a lot of that history as it actually happened and get to see it as it really occurred. Now, our playwright who's done all this research from these journals is here tonight, and he's also the producer. Stand up. Mike Smith. So that being said, I'll ask you to look at your programs, support our sponsors, and thank you for coming tonight. Enjoy the show.
Jenny, I don't mean to pester you, but when will you teach me to reach and to hold those high notes? My voice cracks every time I try.
Caroline, I mean it when I say you are quite good, and I will be happy to help you. Let me find a song, and I will listen to you before we leave later today. I promise I will. Then perhaps we can talk further.
Father, you heard what Mademoiselle Lynn just said? Soon, I will be doing more than just putting a veil over my head when we disembark so that people will think I'm actually her while she heads off in another direction. Soon, you will be sneaking me off those ships and trains because I will be the famous singer.
Caroline, we know you wish to be the second coming of Mademoiselle Lynn, but it won't happen overnight. Patience, daughter. You're a hard worker and determined, just as I was at your age. But, like your father, you can be quite impatient.
Pardon, Mademoiselle Lind. There is a gentleman in the lobby who wishes very much to speak to you. He claims to be a writer of songs.
Oh, who is it, Giovanni? Do you know him?
No, I'm afraid I do not. He said his name was Stephen something or other. Stephen Collins. That's it. Stephen Collins.
Stephen Collins? Stephen Collins. Oh, of course. Stephen Collins Foster, the famous American composer. Yes, I would love to meet him. Please send him to me right away.
See.
Mr. Foster, do come in, sir.
Mademoiselle Lind.
May I introduce Mademoiselle Josephine Amundsen?
Mr. Foster, pleasure.
I must apologize for missing your concert here in Nashville, but I am grateful for this time you are allowing me. I understand you soon will be leaving, and I myself will be departing this very afternoon. Business in Pittsburgh that cannot wait.
I see. Would you care for some tea, sir? I'm happy that you stopped.
I would be delighted to have some tea. That would be refreshing.
Mr. Foster, I've wanted to meet and talk with you as well. As you may have heard, I took the liberty of singing one of your songs in New York. And word has it, you've written a beautiful new piece, as yet unpublished.
Yes, all of that is true. How on earth did you know?
My good friend Josephine, who you just met, is an admirer of your music. She even provided me with the title, My Old Kentucky Home. But, of course, I haven't had the pleasure of hearing it yet.
No, madam. In fact, it has yet to be performed in public. And that is one of the reasons I was wanting to meet with you. I was hoping you would extend me the honor and sing it at one of your upcoming concerts. Pittsburgh, perhaps, or Louisville, or Cincinnati.
Might you have the music in that case?
In fact, madame, this case and its contents are a gift for you. Inside, you will find copies of all of my music. You have my permission to sing any of my pieces.
Mr. Foster, I know you are in a rush, but might you have time to listen to one of your songs by a young lady who right now is in the next room?
Certainly. And who might this beautiful young lady be?
Caroline, would you come here, please? How would you like to sing right now for Mr. Foster?
Oh, but what should I sing?
Mr. Foster, this is Caroline Cornelia Barnum. She's Mr. Barnum's daughter. Why don't you reach into that case and sing What Is in Your Hand? These are the works of Mr. Foster.
I'm not sure I should do that, really. I'm not that good.
My lady, I could think of nothing I would like more than for you to sing one of my songs. Please, extend me that honor.
Very well. But won't you sing along with me?
Only if you ladies promise to be impressed. I much prefer composing to singing. Beautiful dreamer, wake unto me. Starlights and dewdrops are waiting for thee. Sounds of the rude world heard in the day, lulled by the moonlight, have all passed away. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song, list while I woo thee with soft melody. Gone are the cares of life's busy throng. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me.
Out on the sea, mermaids are chanting a wild harmony. Over the streamlet, vapors are born, waiting to fade at the bright coming dawn. Beautiful dreamer, beam on my heart, in as the moon on the streamlet and sea. Then will all clouds of sorrow depart. Beautiful dreamer, awaken to me. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me.
Caroline, you have a beautiful voice. Keep listening to any and all advice given to you by Mademoiselle Linnett.
Phineas, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Frau Amundsen, what better human interest story for our newspapers than the one in the room right next door? Why, the world's most famous singer meets America's greatest composer, and my daughter sings to both of them. Oh, the Nashville Banner and Louisville Courier will know about this before our departure.
Mr. Barnum, I understand that most of us will be leaving today on the E.W. Stevens from Nashville to Louisville. Is that correct?
That's right, and I, for one, cannot wait to quit this place. Have you heard how they tried to swindle us here? Well, first they tried to present us a bill for 3 times the agreed-upon hotel rate. Then just this morning, the stable tried to quadruple the fare for Mademoiselle Lynn's coach to Louisville. Knives and guns were drawn. Oh, but we convinced them otherwise. These rooms have nothing to bear with our circus folks.
Yes, I too will be very glad to leave. Although I do fear for Mademoiselle Lynn on her trip. I understand the road from Nashville to Louisville is not so good.
Quite right. But Frau Amundsen, Mademoiselle Lind, and Maestro Benedict insist on seeing the Mammoth Cave.
Benedict.
They'll arrive in Louisville Sunday next. We'll arrive Saturday and stay at the Gold House. So I'll see you on board the Stevens, sir.
I am looking forward to it, Mr. Barnum. I understand that Louisville is a fair city.
Oh, in more ways than one. Why, I've been to Louisville before. There is no better example of female loveliness in this entire union. Walk down the street, 3/4 of the women are beautiful. Half are absolutely magnificent. Oh, Giovanni, you are going to enjoy Louisville immensely. Until Jenny Lynn entered my life, I was known solely as a circus and museum owner who promoted freaks and sideshows. The American Museum in New York City, founded by yours truly, was soaring in popularity by 1851. Tom Thumb, Jumbo the Elephant, the 162-year-old slave Joyce Heth, who said she'd be in George Washington's nurse. That sort. Joyce Heth. Oh, she looked 1,000 years old, was toothless, and her face had more wrinkles than a wadded-up newspaper. But she could still talk about baby George and swore she delivered him at birth. Her owner in Kentucky wanted $3,000 for her, even had the papers to prove how old she was. I got her for $1,000 and made that back and more in a month. Tom Thumb was easy too. He and his parents cost me just $7 a week, plus lodging. Jenny Lind was another matter. After hearing of her reputation as the greatest singer in the world, it became obvious that bringing her to America would forever change my image for the better. She was a tough negotiator, mainly because she wanted to use any money she made to build schools in Sweden. In the end, it cost me $187,500. Even after I mortgaged all my property, I was still $5,000 short of her demands. None of the banks in New York would loan me another penny, most of them saying she'd be a loser for sure. Then an elderly gentleman I didn't even know volunteered the $5,000 with no strings attached, and the deal was done. Since she landed in America September last, I've nearly doubled my investment. It's those bankers who are crying now. Phineas Taylor Barnum.
I have performed with the great Jenny Lind many times, since 1839, when we appeared together on the Swedish Royal Opera. We were very young then, and filled with ambition. Then, one night at a concert in Sweden, I was all but hooted off the stage. To make matters worse, the audience shouted the house down after each of Jenny's songs. Of course, I was devastated and determined to quit the tour. But alas, it was she who persuaded me to remain in Sweden rather than return to Italy. And that night, on stage, I was greeted with loud and long ovations. She and I have remained close friends ever since. And she insisted that I accompany her on this venture to America. Often it was reported we were to have been romantically involved. But sadly, such gossip was unfounded. The writer, Hans Christian Andersen, he had the same problem, even after naming two of his famous fairy tales after her. The first was the ugly duckling, and the second, the nightingale, Giovanni Belletti.
The morning following our last concert in Nashville and Mademoiselle's meeting with Mr. Stephen Foster, we started with a somewhat small party on a trip to the Mammoth Cave. The road was rough, and in many instances almost impossible for a carriage. The rain, however, had settled the dust, and there was the fresh brilliance of nature's new growth, with colorful trees and the budding of the green meadows. After partaking our midday meal at Traverse Springs, we traveled on to the bowling green, where we dined. Later, traveling further, we found comfortable lodgings at Bell's Hotel. It was just some 10 miles from the great cave itself. The hotel was a dismal and queer-looking building, but the meals were excellent, and the rooms were in good order. No doubt because of the much-anticipated visit of Jenny Lind. Josephine Amundsen.
Mammoth Cave.
Ah, the Mammoth Cave. Now, there is a story. That morning, before we went to the cave, we traveled over 8 miles of the very worst road we've seen in all of the United States. And we got to the caves. I thought they would be like the caverns of Eastern and Western Europe. But oh no, it's aptly named the Mammoth Cave. Incredible formations. Giant stalactites, stalagmites all over. Big formations. The most rocky paths you could imagine. We traveled through there, oh, it seemed like hours. And then we got to the strangest sounds. There was one cavern where there were these thousands of creatures.
The Flittermouse.
Yes, bats indeed. But we went a little further, and then we crossed a bridge, and we walked even longer. It seemed like hours there, even further. And of course, Amundsen and myself, we're seasoned hikers, for Alps and all. However, there's a natural formation called the Onyx Armchair. And Jenny Lind sat there, and she just relaxed, and it was very good. Later on, we went to another place. We stayed overnight. We were tired. It was, let's see, what was the name of that place?
Elizabethtown.
Elizabethtown, exactly. Now there was a scene. It was incredible. There was trouble there. But, I'll tell you the story. Come with me. Walk with me a while.
I've been reading about it and thinking about it, and by damn, I'm gonna do it.
Do what?
Jenny Lind!
Jenny Lind, the singer. Oh, how I'd love to meet her, but... Billy, what brings this on? I haven't heard you mention her before. Why do you always say you haven't money, even for food? How can you possibly afford tickets to her concert?
Hell, Billy, you couldn't afford a penny stick of licorice.
Mary,
I've heard standing room for a single person sold for nearly $10, and more in most other places. Yes, I said I would like to see Jenny Lind, but I don't expect you to take me. I'd like to meet President Fillmore and his wife and daughters too, but that doesn't mean it will happen. All I ask is you keep trying to find decent work. You don't want to be sleeping in that porkhouse forever.
No, Mary, that isn't it. I want Jenny Lind to sing here in Madison. I just think what it would mean to the folks of Jefferson County, Indiana. Why, nobody important comes here.
And neither will Jenny Lind.
Oh, for crying out loud. Wilson, there you go again. Jenny Lind and Madison.
Just a minute, Fremont. Listen to what the Madison Courier says. The excitement always rises to a pitch and people flock to her concerts. Why, her name is tied to every kind of commodity, from songs to gloves to bonnets to chairs to baby cribs to doors and even pianos.
Why, there are Jenny Lynn dances and Jenny Lynn hairstyles. Do you want to hear more?
No, I do not. Now, you've had some blamed crazy ideas, Billy. Well, submit this one as tops. And just how would you attempt to accomplish this marvelous feat?
Do you know that there were 40,000 people in New York City to meet her boat when it landed September last? That's 40,000! I mean, they were lined up on the rooftops, all over the pier, while they were 10 deep in the streets from the Hudson to her hotel. The hotel owner paid Mr. Barnum $1,000 a night just to let her stay there instead of somewhere else. And there was a riot at a theater in Boston when it came time for her tickets to go on auction there for the very first show.
I read all about what happened in Boston, Billy. A man was killed and several badly hurt. But you do not have to explain to me how famous she has become since arriving in America. Answer my question. How are you going to bring her here? Has it occurred to you that Mr. Barnum just might object?
Mary, I've thought about it a lot, ever since hearing that she was going to be in Louisville and then in Cincinnati. Now, what town is right between the middle of those two great cities if she goes up the high? Madison, Indiana. Wow, I could just imagine what she looks like. I bet she's beautiful.
But you would have to go to Louisville and hope you can speak with Barnum. And even if you're lucky enough to do so, you must then hope he says,
"Oh, certainly. I'd be happy to stop in Madison. Of course, you must pay me $30,000.
Can you honestly believe a man as famous as P.T. Barnum would grant such a favor to a man who works in a porkhouse in a riverboat town he probably doesn't even know exists? Oh, I doubt it, Billy. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you do need to be realistic.
Well, Barnum won't bring her here if we don't try to see him. I mean, I know the chances are enormous that it won't happen, but I've just got to make the effort when she's in Louisville next week. Now, I was going to go see him at his museum in New York, you know. I was going to take a steamboat to Wheeling, and then I'd take a stagecoach to Baltimore, and then I'd take a boat up the Hudson to New York City. But that would take forever, and it would cost a small fortune. But Louisville's a different story. It's just a day away.
Billy, twice you proposed marriage to me. And you know what my parents thought about that. They think you're nothing but a dreamer and will never amount to anything beyond a pork packer.
Billy, you're a fine boy, but you have no prospects. And I want my daughter and my grandchildren taken care of.
He's nothing but a dreamer, Mary. Well, he hasn't proven himself, and we will not give our approval until he does.
Mr. Fremont, you and everybody in this town keeps telling me it can't be done, that I'm crazy. Well, maybe I am right, sir, this time. Maybe Jenny Lynn will sing in Madison. Well, and I'm going to do my damnedest, sir. And I'm going to do it for you, Mary, to prove to you that I can be the man to be your
Mary,
husband.
He's going to be packing meat at that pork house until the day he dies. For heaven's sake, darling, don't listen to him.
But it's not just because of my parents that twice I said no to your proposals. Oh, how I'd love to be your wife. But I just cannot. Do you want to know why?
Yes.
It's because you don't think seriously about what to do with your life, and you certainly haven't thought this one through. You're always off campaigning for something ridiculous. Like 2 years ago when you were planning for us to move to California so you could become a gold miner.
A lot of folks got rich that way, Mary.
And even more lost everything they owned. When would you go to Louisville, and how are you going to pay for it? Why, to take the ferry across the river to Milton is $1.50. Then you must eat, find lodging, and pay just for the auction they hold. After all that, there's a price for a ticket. Can you imagine how jammed the hotels will be all week with those two concerts in town?
Well, Mary, I think that $25 ought to cover it. And that's what I'm taking with me when I go to Louisville on Sunday. And if I can't find a hotel, I'll sleep in the street.
I really wish you wouldn't go, Billy. But I cannot stop you. At any rate, you be careful, especially at the auction. Those pickpockets are always hovering around those places. So please, protect yourself.
Well, here goes a week's pay, but I just have to see and hear the great Jenny Lynn. Tonight will be the crowning moment of my life, even if I have to starve for the next 7 days.
Oh, but Marla, it will be so very worth it. Why, hearing Jenny Lynn sing was the most wonderful thing that's ever happened to me. Why, I have heard that tickets are going for as much as $5, maybe more. Why, look at this crowd tonight. Ever since yesterday, carriages have been everywhere.
Well, I say, ladies, what is all this Jenny Lynn business? Why would anyone spend an entire week's wages just to see this person?
Sir, she is the greatest singer to ever live, man or woman. Weren't you here when she arrived yesterday? People were jammed on Main Street.
It was breathtaking. Why, she was riding in a magnificent carriage driven by 4 white horses, Kentucky horses. I will never forget that as long as I live.
Oh, manias we've had many, and some have raised the wind. But the most absurd of any has been that for Jenny Lind. Called the water evolution to compliment her fame. From a toothpick to an omnibus, all are called by her name. Oh, manias we've had many, and some have raised the wind. But the most absurd of any has been that for Jenny Lind.
Well, I tell you, I just fear she is one of Barnum's pranks. What did they call her in New York? Oh, Barnum's bird.
Right you are, sir. That P.T. Barnum is unscrupulous, but a financial genius.
Well, I still say, who is this Jenny Lind? A year ago, I knew nothing of the woman. Now she's all you hear and read about. Well, she's in the paper more than President Fillmore and Mint Delft these days. In the stores, it's Jenny Lind pudding, Jenny Lind scrambled eggs, Jenny Lind crib. But right here in Louisville, Kentucky, I've seen advertised Jenny Lind seagulls. It's madness, I say, and all to make that Phineas T. Barnum wealthy in the art of years.
My friend Sarah heard her sing yesterday.
She did. Here in Louisville, I think not.
Oh, but she did. It was over there by Citra and Walnut Street at the house where she was staying. Sarah and her students stood outside for almost an hour, just trying to get a glimpse of her. And then, all of a sudden, she came out. And she waved, and the children waved, and she sang a song.
If you step into a closet, upon my word 'tis true. There's Jenny Lind of sugar, and Jenny's combo too. We shall all become great singers, oh Jenny Lind, my God. And each must stop in London, Jenny Lind, what's in my heart?
Oh, manias we've had many, and some have raised the wind. But the most absurd of any has been that for Jenny Lind.
By the way, where is she staying? You know, I believe she's at the home of Levin Lawrence Shreve.
Levin Law who?
Well, Levin Lawrence Shreve. Why, he must own every hardware store in Louisville, and he's got a lot to do with that new railroad they started last year. You know, the L&N. Oh, not only that, but he actually has a bathtub in his house. No. He's the only one in Louisville to do so, I've heard.
My, what an accomplishment.
Oh, yes, that's where Sarah was staying. Or Jenny Lind was staying at the home of Mr. Shreve. While a group of students were standing outside, just hoping that she would come out. And then all of a sudden, there she was, Jenny Lind in person. Well, the students waved, and she waved, and then she sang a song. She sang the last rose of summer.
My wife has a Jenny Lind bonnet and a Jenny Lind visite.
With Jenny's portrait on it, my handkerchief looks neat.
My wife's a slave to fashion, against it never sinned.
Our baby and a kitten are called after Jenny Lind.
Oh, manias we've had many, and some have raised the wind. But the most absurd of any has been that for Jenny Lind.
So, boys, you want to see a show? Well, I'll give you a show. Drop it. I'll give you a show.
Boy, we're in for it now.
Did you see those boys? They tried to pick those men's pockets.
If that officer got him good. Yeah. Oh, but did you see that little one? He could have been more than 6 years old. What a shame. Do you know if those boys are any examples, there's going to be plenty of others about.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know, I heard that a teacher at the Louisville College paid $170 for a single ticket. Woo! Why, I've got me a $2 standing room only ticket, and I'm happy. Hey, but I almost missed the auction altogether because I wasted so much time trying to meet Mr. Barnum.
P.T. Barnum, on that I wish you well, sir.
Thank you. You see, I need to speak with him. We want Jenny Lind to come sing in our town of Madison, Indiana.
I wouldn't count on that, my friend. I imagine her every spare moment is taken. Why, charity seekers will be pulling at her skirts from dawn till dusk.
Yes, you see, I tried to get his attention, at the end of the auction when he's signing all those tickets, but they wouldn't let me anywhere near him. I mean, there are some rude folks who are working here. I thought they were going to take my ticket away or haul me off to jail.
Excuse me. Did I understand that you wanted to discuss something with Mr. Barnum?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
A possible concert, perhaps?
Yes, that's correct.
Won't you only have a standing room ticket?
Yes, ma'am, that's all I have. Why do you ask?
Well, I am Josephine Amundsen, and I take care of Mademoiselle Lind. And I will be happy to introduce you to Mr. Barnum after the concert.
You would do that for me?
Well, under the circumstances that you described. But please realize that I have no idea what Mr. Barnum will say. So don't get your hopes up too high.
I understand, ma'am. Absolutely, I understand.
And once the overture begins, I will have to leave you. Now I will take you to a seat by the orchestra and return for you after the concert.
Great. Could you introduce me to Jenny Lind?
No, sir, I'm sorry. That I cannot do. You are serious about this.
Oh,
yeah?
yes, ma'am. I'm absolutely serious.
All right, then. Come with me. We will get you.
John full on foreign music, we see most dearly dotes. While Cassie fills her pockets, Jenny crams his with notes.
A charming Swedish nightingale, they call you Jenny too. Do not think I'm a shellfish, when a goldfinch I call you.
Oh, manias we've had many, and some have raised the wind. But the most absurd of any has been that for Jenny Lind.
Portia, how's everything?
Very well.
Tickets doing well?
Quite a good show.
Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Do you remember me from just this past hour?
I don't believe so, but aren't you Mr. Barnum?
Indeed I am. Phineas T. Barnum and General Tom Thumb at your service. You may not have recognized me. We spoke outside Mozart Hall just this past hour. I was the one inquiring as to why you'd spend a week's wages just for a ticket to see Mademoiselle Lind sing. Why, I wasn't entirely honest. I sometimes like to mingle with the crowd in disguise and hear what people are really saying.
So it was you. But you look so different now. I don't know whether to be flattered or insulted.
Oh, you should be quite flattered because I told Mademoiselle Lind there was a young lady who'd give up a week's wages just to hear her sing. She was quite intrigued, and she asked me to give you this.
A $20 gold piece? I don't know what to say. I can't possibly accept.
Oh, but you must. Mademoiselle Lind would be insulted if you were to refuse her gift. In fact, she's made arrangements for you to sit at the front row tonight and would like nothing more than to visit with you at the conclusion of the concert.
Front row, and she wants to meet me?
That's right. Here's your ticket. Enjoy the show. Someone will come to your seat at the conclusion, take you to Mademoiselle Lind's dressing area.
Boss, I never seen you do that before. Be sure to tell all your friends.
It was already the hour for commencing the first Louisville concert. And if I remember correctly, the overture had just begun. Then a murmur was heard from the end of the building. When the overture was played to the end, then there was a long and loud burst of applause. For a moment, Mr. Benedict, the conductor, looked around quite astonished. He, however, saw immediately that the applause had not been called forth by the orchestra. Just then, a tall, slim figure of, I should say, an older man was seen slowly advancing up to his seat. All made way for him. I no sooner saw the face than I recognized him from the bust and engravings I had seen. It was that of Henry Clay. The brow was not large, but it was as though he was looking directly at me with those grayish blue eyes. Und mein Gott, im Himmel, I thought I was going to faint. Then a voice at the upper end of the hall cried out, 3 cheers for Henry Clay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen! It's wonderful to see so many out here tonight, just as it's our honor to be in your esteemed metropolis of Louisville, Kentucky. If by some chance 1 or 2 of you don't recognize me, my name is Phineas Taylor Barnum. As I look out in this wonderful crowd, I see someone I'd like to recognize at this time. I speak, of course, of the Honorable Henry Clay, esteemed senator from your proud state. Kind sir, please stand so you may be properly recognized.
Oh, sit down. We came to see the little Swedish girl. I didn't vote for you.
I think I recognize this gentleman. Next time, sir, not run against me, and you will not have this problem.
We'd also hope to be graced by the famous composer, Mr. Stephen Foster. Unfortunately, he's informed us that he's indisposed in Pennsylvania. However, he's recently penned a new song, not yet copywritten, and never before heard in public, that Mademoiselle Lind may perform for you this very evening.
Where is Jenny Lind? We came for Jenny Lind.
And so you did, sir, and so you did. And you've heard quite enough from me. But before I introduce Mademoiselle Lind, it is with the greatest honor that I present to you, direct from Italy, a gentleman who's given us the pleasure of partaking in this entire tour. Please welcome the magnificent Giovanni Belletti! And now, the moment you've been waiting for is at hand. It was with the utmost honor and pleasure that I present to you the one, the only, the worldwide famous Nightingale herself. Please welcome Mademoiselle Jenny Lind of Sweden! Bravo! Bravo!
Thank you so very much, people of Kentucky. It is wonderful to be in your fine city of Louisville. And I would like to join each of you in paying homage to Senator Clay. We had a wonderful conversation in Washington, sir, and I am so glad that you journeyed here to be with us this evening. When I agreed with Mr. Barnum to undertake this tour of America and Cuba, one thing I told him that must be included was a trip to the Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. I was able to do so late last week, and that stop was one of the most memorable events of my entire trip. Someday I do hope to return to that magnificent place, as caves have intrigued me since childhood.
Wo klein, was singst in Wort du so laut? Warum, warum rufst du den Bräutigam, rufst du die Braut? Warum, warum? Ich bin die
This next one is one of my favorites. Jenny once tried to explain to me how she achieved the special effect of the echo song, but the subject was so purely subjective that it was almost impossible to describe it in words. I can certainly believe such is true. The effect she produces so very nearly resembles a natural echo reverberated from an opposite wall that it never fails to mystify an audience.
Last week, before leaving Nashville, I was informed by Mr. Belletti that there was a gentleman in the lobby who wished very much to meet me. His name was Stephen Collins Foster. We had a grand meeting, talking and sipping tea for nearly 1 hour. I told him I heard he had composed a beautiful new number called My Old Kentucky Home. He said he hoped to come to one of my concerts, and would I give him the honor of being the first to sing it publicly. Of course, I said yes. And I would like to fulfill that promise at this time. I only wish Mr. Foster could have been here with us this evening.
you enjoy the concert, Mr.
Wilson, it's Billy Wilson, ma'am. Yes, I did. She is extraordinary.
It's wonderful that you enjoyed the concert, Mr. Wilson. We have to find Mr. Barnum now. Mr. Barnum? Mr. Barnum? Oh, General Thumb, this is Mr. Billy Wilson. We need to speak with Mr. Barnum. Can you get him for us, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Barnum! My goodness, we could have done that ourselves. Excuse me. Mr. Barnum, I would like to introduce you to a gentleman from a small... this is Mr. Billy Wilson. He comes from a small town in Indiana.
Yes.
And he has an urgent matter that he would like to discuss.
Mr. Wilson, a pleasure, sir. What may I do for you today?
Sir, Mr. Barnum, sir, we were wondering if perhaps Miss Lind could come give a concert in our town of Madison, Indiana, sir. It's right between Louisville and Cincinnati when she goes up the Ohio.
Madison?
Yes.
Madison. Oh. I don't know this town. I don't see Madison on my map. Besides, we only perform in the larger cities, and that certainly doesn't include Madison.
Oh, sir, I know we could accommodate up to 800 people. I mean, people from towns other than Madison. I mean, people in Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, people who can't travel as far as Louisville or Cincinnati to see her.
Mr. Wilson, I appreciate your interest, but what you ask is impossible. Our schedule's been set for months, and we cannot and will not deviate from it.
Oh, but sir...
Mr. Wilson, do you think you're the only one to make such a request? We get these at every whistle stop along the way. Why, if we performed at every little town that wanted us, we'd never get to the big cities. I'm about money, sir. The almighty dollar. That's my line. And I don't see us making money in Madison or towns like Madison, even for one show. We simply cannot do it.
Oh, sir, but people would come from miles around Madison to see her perform. I know we could make it profitable for you, sir.
I tell you what. I tell you what. On Thursday next, we are planning a new show. Wednesday, the great Signor Salvi was going to perform. Unfortunately, he's been detained. And so this Thursday show is not yet announced. I could offer your Madison friends a ticket discount for that show. And they wouldn't even have to stand in the morning auction. Then we could announce to the crowd, the people of Madison! That's the best I can do for you.
Well, thank you, sir, but no. Now, sir, it is a fact that you, sir, took a great risk in bringing Mademoiselle Lind here to America. But was it just so you could make money, sir? No, I don't think so. I know you say you're about the money, sir, but I think you had a dream. You had a dream to bring Mademoiselle Lind to America just to show that you could. Well, I too, sir, have a dream to bring her to Madison, Indiana. Perhaps to prove that I can. Prove it to my lady friend Mary, so that... But I tried, sir. I tried, but if only you were more open to the idea.
I'll probably regret doing this, but I suppose we could accommodate Madison for one show. One too many cigars, I think. For one show on April 11th, Friday, in the late afternoon or early evening. However, you must have suitable facilities, and the fee is $5,000, payable in advance. Can you positively guarantee such an amount?
Yes, absolutely, sir, I can guarantee it. We'll sell 800 tickets for $7 each, and I've already got some ideas for some fundraisers. Yes, we'll have more than enough.
Well, I'll probably regret doing this, but I admire your sincerity, sir. So, we'll simply draw up a guarantee outlining these demands. We'll arrive in the afternoon on Friday. Remember, we have time for one show only. These demands must be met. Am I clear?
Yes, absolutely, sir. Absolutely clear. And thank you, sir. Thank you. And on behalf of Madison, Indiana, sir, I thank you. Oh!
You all right?
You're almost stuffing out of me.
We're all a little dizzy, aren't we?
Mr. Barnum, I knew that I
and gentlemen, I took time away from my classroom to discuss with you a very important matter that has come to light. As each of you probably know, Billy works in the packing department of Phillips & Sons. And upon talking with some friends there, he learned that the singer Jenny Lind is going to perform 2 concerts in Louisville and 1 or 2 in Cincinnati. Anyway, at some point the discussion came up as to how wonderful it'd be if Miss Lind could stop here long enough to sing.
Jenny Lind, here in Madison? Oh, how I'd love to have her autograph. I already have Samuel Morris, Zachary Taylor, and Emily Dickinson, but the greatest will be Jenny Lind.
Yes, I thought it was a crazy idea, and, well, I'm still not totally convinced she'll actually perform here. But someone told Billy when she spent the night in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, a crowd pleaded with her to sing 2 songs, which she did, outside in front of a hotel. In fact, she sang several. She's a very generous person, it said. Even so, when Billy brought this idea to me, I thought it was, well, ridiculous. But upon his return this morning, he told me what had happened, and I was shocked indeed. So that is why I bring you here. He brings back from Louisville both good news and bad news. I'll let him explain.
If Billy arranged it, there's a better chance of Thomas Jefferson showing up here, and he's been dead for 25 years.
You don't think she really believes it, do you? She's usually such a sensible girl.
Mary's right, and I'm a little embarrassed, but at the same time excited by the opportunity that's been offered to us. I know that somebody more important than me, the mayor or somebody, should have done this, but there just wasn't time, so I nominated myself. Last night, after the concert, I was granted an interview with P.T. Barnum about the possibility of Jenny Lind singing here.
There you go again, Wilson, attempting that harebrained scheme of yours. It's nothing but pie in the sky, which is exactly why Mary's mother and I wish you'd just leave our daughter out of it.
Well, Father, don't be rude and don't interrupt. Billy is just trying to help the community.
Daughter, be careful how you speak to your father. He knows what he's talking about.
Sir, I want what's best for Mary and for Madison. There's nothing in this for me.
Oh, now, Edwin, please calm down, or I have to give you another dose of Dr. Whiteman's tonic.
Hey, Billy, did you get that interview with Jenny?
No, but I sure wanted one. Well, about the concert. I was surprised to find out from Mr. Barnum that it could be done on late afternoon or early evening Friday next. But we have to raise $5,000 in advance and find a place to house 800 people. I'm afraid I had to agree to both terms in order to secure the concert. But I figure with an aggressive advertising campaign and some fundraisers, we can sell those 800 tickets for $7 each, and we'll have more than enough for Mr. Barnum's fee and a little left over for Madison. I also figure we will hold the concert at the Depot.
Depot's too small. You can't get 800 people in there even with a crowbar.
Billy, we only have about 6,000 folks here, and that includes poor people and a whole lot of small children and babies. Why, $7 would buy a new overcoat. We'd be lucky to sell 100 tickets.
I realize that, Miss Landers. But if the Madison Courier could put out a story by, say, tomorrow, and then we get word of mouth and we make up some signs, I figure that people as far away as Indianapolis, Columbus, or Seymour could come. Why, I told Mr. Barnum that it would be an opportunity for Hoosiers, Ohioans, and Kentuckians to see her who can't travel as far as Cincinnati or Louisville. Now, we are just going to have to be aggressive.
Billy's right, and we need to get lots of people involved, especially the mayor, city council, and the school. The children I teach are magnificent at spreading the word.
We could have a steamboat race and sell tickets, but we'd have to do it tomorrow and Thursday. Hell, Friday's only 3 days away. We have to do anything to sell them Jenny Lind tickets.
Yeah.
Jenny Lind? Oh, my stars, my husband would kill to see her. So would most of the men around here.
And women too.
Oh, come to think of it, he'd probably stow away just to avoid paying the $7.
All right, then as soon as we're done here, I'll go down to the Courier. I know we're a reporter down there, and I know it's not yet the deadline for tomorrow's edition. Now, the rest of you get the word out that the world's greatest singer will be here Friday next. Now, if the depot's too small, where can we hold it?
Only place I know is that big pork house down on Mulberry Street.
Phillips? Well, that's where I work. I don't know that she'd like singing in a place where we process hog meat, but it's big, and I'm sure that Mr. Phillips would let us spruce it up some.
Well, then we'll just have to fix it up.
We can clean it and whitewash it from top to bottom, and then we need a cleaning committee, preferably women, just to get things done proper like. And then we need a committee of men so they can do the hard labor that the women folk can't do.
That women folk can't do? Come on, Annie.
We'll need a stage, and those 800 seats will have to be installed. Benches from the courthouse, maybe.
Hey, and to disguise the pork smell, we can spread cedar and lilacs, and if that doesn't work, we can scatter lime around the floor. That should take care of it, don't you think?
How about if we get some carpenters to build us a floor? A slanting floor, maybe, to cover that old splintered one.
Yeah.
And then they can build a huge stage, big enough for Jenny Lind and her whole orchestra.
Yeah.
Hey, and then they could partition off a dressing room, and wouldn't it be wonderful if we could light the hall with hundreds of candles?
Hell no, not unless we want to set our largest porkhouse on fire.
Hey, I know. I'll talk to Harry down at the Madison Hotel and get him to loan us his lighting expert. I'm sure they could channel some gas from that smokehouse next door. And then Jenny find herself singing on the most brilliantly lit stage she's ever seen.
You know, Billy, I may be crazy, but I have to admit, I admire your approach to this. Well, but mind you, I still don't approve of you courting our daughter.
Billy, what are we going to do? The Franklin will be here soon and we don't have the money. You still think she'll sing? It will be so humiliating if she doesn't.
Right you are. And look at all these people. Most of them haven't even bought a ticket yet. They just want to see her. But if they think they're going to listen to her sing for free, they got another thing coming to them. The cops will see to that.
Well, $7 is a lot of money, Billy. 2 weeks pay for some. I'm just hoping for a miracle. How much do we have?
Well, thanks to 6 of Madison's wealthiest citizens, the fundraiser brought in about $500 last night. And then this morning, the ticket auction brought in another $500. But we're still about $1,500 short, Mary.
Who bought the most expensive ticket?
Oh, that little fella, Captain White.
Right, the tailor. Does he get a special seat?
Oh, yes. Down front and center. He demanded a big, fancy chair with decorations and flowers. Said it would equal the fancy price he paid for his ticket. You know how he's always exaggerating his own importance. Well, Mary, look at all these people. Some of the most important people are here. I mean, the mayor, town council members, and we sent free tickets to several newspaper editors.
Here comes the flying cloud. It looks like she's loaded, too. A boat came in earlier from the Rising Sun, and another from across the river in Kentucky.
Someone said there's a second train coming in from Indianapolis and a stagecoach from Bloomington.
Mary, none of those people could have tickets yet either. We might make it after all.
Oh, what a perfect spring day for Miss Lynn to come. The redbud and the forsythia are in their blazing glory. What a magnificent spring afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm determined to get her autograph.
Hey, look way downriver there. Isn't that the Ben Franklin? That's the boat bringing the Jenny Lind people, right?
Yes. It was about 5 o'clock on Friday when the boat landed, and we prepared to set foot on the soil of Indiana for the very first time. Madison was a lovely place, calm and quiet as one of the ancient towns that nestle in the arms of the old Father Rhine. The long and gravelly bank swept down to the river, the very edge of the Ohio River, and a stray church spire or two rose among the roofs of the little town. The wharf was jammed with an excited multitude, each individual straining his eyes in anticipation of glimpsing the Swedish nightingale. Then, when she came topside and waved, a cannon was fired, had sails through the air, and massive shouts and cheers went out. All this created such a reception that even Cleopatra would have been honored.
Oh my goodness, Billy, there she is!
Warm and gushing hearts we hail, O Norland, sweet old nightingale. With warm and gushing hearts we hail, O Norland, sweet old nightingale.
both high and low, forever own thy spell. In lordly halls and lowly cots, thy worth is known full well.
And gushing hearts we hail, O Norland, sweet old nightingale. With warm and gushing hearts we hail, O Norland, sweet old nightingale.
Aren't you a kid like me?
Yes, I work for Mr. Bonham. What's it to you?
Mr. Barnum, welcome, sir. Everything is ready in readiness. There's a carriage waiting at the landing for Miss Lind. Why, this is the proudest moment in Madison's history, sir. One we shall always remember.
I expect you have the guarantee with you.
Just place it right here, Mr. Wilson.
No, sir. I do not have the guarantee.
What? You don't have it? Mr. Bonham, did you hear that?
Well, then you mean you brought it all in cash?
No, sir, not that either. I mean, I could have brought the $3,693.25 we have raised to date, but it didn't make sense.
I told you so. We should have come and help us, just like you figured.
You promised me $5,000.
And you shall have it, sir. Every penny. At the end of the evening, I mean, the people on the steamboats have not yet bought their tickets, and there's a train due in momentarily from Indianapolis.
Our arrangement was $5,000 payable in advance. Captain, we'll not be staying here in Madison. Sail on to Cincinnati.
Oh, no!
Prepare to weigh anchor!
Oh my! We're gonna be the laughing stock of Indiana!
No, it's all right.
Please wait. Everyone in town has worked so hard this week getting ready for this concert. Why, we turned our biggest pork house into a regular palace for her to sing in.
Pork house? Boy, she has to be kidding.
You asked my nightingale to sing in a pork house? Captain, I say once more, sail on to Cincinnati.
All hands on deck,
Mr. Wilson.
Why, what's all this?
Oh, Mademoiselle Lind, you would be interested to know that we'll not be having a concert in Madison.
And why not, Phineas?
Oh, for the simple reason that Mr. Wilson here didn't raise the money that he promised for your concert.
I see. May I have a word with you, Mr. Wilson?
Certainly, ma'am. My apologies. We worked really hard, but we just couldn't quite get it all together. I mean, we are not a wealthy community, but we wanted to see you and to hear you sing.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Honey, have you and your little friends worked hard too?
Yes, ma'am. Everyone has. Me and my brothers have been picking up regular scraps off the floor, while the ladies have been cutting out seat covers. We worked almost every day, almost.
Seat covers? These good people want me to sing. They paid for me to sing, and Lord knows they worked very hard making suitable arrangements so that I could do so. Therefore, I am going to sing. I will pay you the difference.
Paying me shall not be necessary, mademoiselle.
Miss Lind, oh Miss Lind, would you sign this, please? Your autograph would be the prize of my collection.
Certainly. I'd be happy to sign it for you. And rest assured, everyone, there will be a concert.
After a short delay, The orchestra appeared on the flower-decked platform to play a prelude of numbers. Members of the audience held small but elegantly printed programs in anticipation of what was to come. Then, without any fanfare and no introduction, Jenny Lind appeared and the crowd went literally mad. Just then I could tell that she sniffed the odor of cloth, intermingled with the smell of cedar and lilac. At that moment, she spotted a little fellow sitting up front in an oversized chair, staring up at her. And she began to laugh. Some of the orchestra and chorus members laughed as well. But then, they all composed themselves, and the show began.
Oh,
time, I would like to introduce to you my conductor, Mr. Jules Benedict. As well as my favorite male soloist, Senor, here he is, Mr. Jules Benedict. As well as my favorite male soloist, Signor Giovanni Belletti. Both Signors Benedict and Belletti gave up well over a year in Europe in order to tour with me here in America. Without them, this tour would not have been possible. And I believe you are well acquainted with my manager, Mr. Barnum. Who not only has been wonderful on this tour, but who, at the suggestion of Madison's Billy Wilson, arranged for this concert.
Oh, belle nuit d'amour.
happiest man in Madison and be my wife?
Yes.
I'll not leave you alone to cry on the stain, since the family are sleeping. Oh, sleep thou with them. Thus kindly I scatter thy leaves where thy maids of the garden lie scentless and dead, where thy maids of the garden lie scentless and dead.
It may be of interest that both America and Britain can lay claim to my final number, Home Sweet Home. For the lyrics were written by John Howard Payne, an American, and the music by English composer Sir Henry Bishop. Mr. Payne wrote it as part of an opera, The Maid of Milan, which premiered in London in 1823.
Mid pleasures and palaces, going
in one so grand and beautiful as you have made this one. And now, with your permission, as an encore, I would like to sing a special number, and I dedicate it to each of you, especially those of Scottish, Irish ancestry. For it was written in 1782 by Scotland's own Robert Burns, and is among my favorites.